Since I've got like umpteen tens of thousands of drug company drugs for like every ailment known to man, why would somebody need to know how to be a herbalist in 2026 rather than just go down to the doctor and getting whatever the doctor prescribes?
Well, I'm an eclectic. I believe in using the best of everything out there, whether it's herbal or modern medicine, which has a lot to offer. But I have seen herbal medicine in many cases work when modern medicine did not. I've worked a lot with people with COVID, and the fibrosis of the lung is what gets them. And I've watched herbal medicine deal with it much more effectively than modern medicine in many cases. So it's a way of having control and power over your life and not having to be constantly addicted to synthetic modern drugs. But you still have to remember that plants, the reason they work is because they have chemicals in them. So they are medicines, and it's just. But once you learn how to use them, you'd be amazed at what you can do at home without having to buy or get on a prescription medication.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided are greater than the legal services of other lawyers. I'm Harry Steele. I'm a retired attorney down in Baldwin County, Alabama. I'm joined today by my co-host, Brandon Mosley, content manager and reporter at the Alabama Gazette. How are you today, Brandon?
I'm doing fine, Harry. How are you?
I'm good, and we have a special guest today, Darryl Patton, author and master herbalist. How are you today, Mr. Patton?
I'm doing great. Just enjoying this hot, humid day.
So I have a little bit of a story to tell to get us started. And it starts with the state health officer's safer at home order. Do you remember that debacle, Brandon, when we were all locked down?
Yeah, that was kind of a big moment.
So anyway, I had previously lived up in Gadsden, and I went to a Master Gardeners Association meeting one morning for some reason on a Saturday, and Mr. Patton was the speaker. And I bought his book, which was quite expensive at the time, as I recall. But when the plague broke out, I broke out his book and started messing around with some of his decoctions, and I've been kind of fooling around with them ever since. So I'm excited to have you on and to see you again. I should tell Brandon that you've become a bit of a internet sensation in the herbalist community with appearing on several different podcasts, and I've did a little recon on you online, and I see you at all kinds of different events in and around North Alabama, speaking to large groups of people. So we're excited to have you with us.
Well, glad to be here and help it however I can.
Well, so I was looking through your repertoire on your Facebook page, and I came across Crossvine. And for the uninitiated, and I think I'm getting this right, that Crossvine is what they used to give to lame horses, and it would kind of rejuvenate them. And am I thinking of the same plant? It's got like 4 leaves that hang down like banana bunches, and it grows straight up a pine tree. Is this?
They'll grow up trees, and it's 2 leaves across from two leaves. That's why it's called crossvine. And if you cut a big vine in half, it'll have a cross shape inside the vine. And they used it for horses and mules when they had a condition called hidebound. And that basically meant they were working the animal to death. And they would use a little plant called pipsisselwa to flush all the acids out of the body, and then use crossvine to give them energy. 3 or 4 days later, they'd be back plowing again. And my mentor, Tommy Bass, figured out if it was good for a horse, it was good for man, and started using it with people. And it's a great plant for stamina and energy.
Right. So not quite an amphetamine, but it's not like a Walter White or anything. So
Oh,
then,
no. Basically, after you've drunk it for about 3 or 4 days, you realize you just feel better. You have more stamina, more energy. You may not want to go run a marathon, but you will feel a definite difference both physically and mentally.
So in my great grandfather's front yard, he had this great big what we always called a saucer magnolia, which is must be similar to this plant that you have here or this tree you have here on your Facebook page. It says Japanese magnolias, and you're talking about
Yes.
the petals being edible. But I have been doing a decoction for quite a while of magnolia bark extract, and instead of using 190 proof uh, spirit, I'm using the 80 proof, like a really nice vodka, and I'm getting more of the alkalines out of it. And matter of fact, I have a little that's a heroic dose of this stuff. I would say usually like half a tincture of it, and why don't you tell us about how you use that decoction?
Well, what you'll find is that in traditional Southern folk medicine, everything was done as a tea, either decoction, which is where you boil the plant, or as an infusion where it's steeped, sort of like a Tetley tea bag. And then in more modern times, people are using more tinctures. And as you said, you're using 80 proof, and depending on the plant, what stage of growth it's in, etc., changes whether you do a high proof alcohol extract or a low proof alcohol extract. Because in many of these plants and fungi, also, some of the plant phytochemicals are water soluble, some are alcohol soluble. And so in my herb school, we just had a class on this recently where you have to learn which strength of alcohol to choose depending on what chemicals you're trying to extract that have a specific medicinal property that you're after. And if you go back to the days of the eclectic physicians of the 1800s and early 1900s, the sweet spot was about 74 to 75% alcohol, and that would extract both alcohol and water soluble chemicals.
So this is the magnolia. I don't know if it's picking it up here, but anyway, it's got a little bud on it right now. It's in that foliage stage, and so anyway, I've been taking that as a soother to go to sleep at night, as opposed to something over the counter, and I can say it's pretty effective on me. And it says here that magnolia bark is popular in traditional Chinese and Japanese medicine, and it helps treat various conditions like stress-induced anxiety, digestive issues, and sleep troubles. And I can attest
Exactly.
as what and anyway, it has a similar effect on the body as a benzodiazepine. So, you know, if you're already addicted to benzos and you're an alcoholic, this is probably not the elixir for you. But I can
Well,
tell you, I'm one of these people that takes a Benadryl and it knocks me out cold. So
Well, magnolia bark is non-addicting to begin with, but it contains a couple of chemicals called hinokiol and magnolol that are mood altering, and they mellow you out. They reduce corticosteroids, which are stress hormones in the body, and for a lot on the liver too as well. And it's just a great calming, relaxing, sleepy time herb used at night.
agreed. So talk to me about lichen, and in particular, this one like right here is the one that I see a lot. Just traipsing through the woods. It's some of it's looks like it's growing flat against the plant, and then some of it's kind of like a furry sponge looking lichen.
Well, the lichens that you want to gather, especially in the South in particular, is called usnea. And it's a combination. You'll see some of the what are called the crustose form that's flat on the tree, then the frilly part that looks sort of like a miniature Spanish moss. And it's a very good antiviral, and it's effective against gram-positive bacteria, especially in the Staphylococcus family.
So are
And
you
it's
chewing it up and
powerful.
making a pump? Are you chewing it up and putting it directly on the wound? Or are you grinding it with
No,
water?
no,
How would
no.
you?
It can be water extracted, and it's a very good one to do an alcohol extract, and works even better if you extract it under heat. So you take your alcohol that you're going to use and put it up in the attic, put it on top of the refrigerator, and that extra bit of warmth helps to extract more of those chemicals out of the lichen. But it's now if you're going to use it for something like pink eye or conjunctivitis, it's excellent for that. And you're not going to use alcohol, use a water extract for that, and then an eye cup, and you use it. And it works real fast to clear that infectious process up.
All right. Well, I got another one for you: cat briar or green briar, and I have what I think is a little sprig of the very end of some new growth in the backyard here, and it's got a couple little what might turn into berries one day on there.
Yes, what you're talking about is what's commonly called sawbriar. And in the trade, it was known as sarsaparilla and smilax. And we have probably 7 or 8 varieties that you'll find on a regular basis. Further south, you go down towards where you are in Baldwin County, you have what people call wait a minute vines. And that's the black and red bamboo. And it's not bamboo, it's just a common name. They have large thorns and they grab you and say, wait a minute. But they all work the same. And they're one of the original sources of one of the ingredients in root beer and sarsaparilla, the drink. In fact, the drink sarsaparilla gets its name from this plant. And if you'll notice in the photo there, the coloration, a lot of times these, what we call a rhizome, and it's sort of a tannish color. And once you break it or cut it, it oxidizes to a very distinct rusty red color, which is one of the ways it would colorize sarsaparilla or root beer. But it's actually a powerful medicinal because it contains what are called steroid precursor molecules. And it's the early molecules that make up steroids. But unlike anabolic steroids, which are bad for your liver, this is actually one of my better liver herbs. It's good for rejuvenating a liver, helping to heal a sick liver. And because it has the steroid precursors, and for men, it helps to build muscle mass. So you can use it if you're working out.
And are we going after the bark on this, or
No,
the outer skin of this tubular? What are we going for?
no, you're looking at that whole rhizome just chopped up and tinctured or made into teas.
Interesting. Okay, well, I've been overthinking that.
Now, on sassafras, which is another part in root beer, you actually are peeling and getting that cambium layer off of it. But on the smilax, you're using the whole rhizome.
So let's talk about some toxic plants, in particular, horse chestnut or buckeye. Do you use that for circulatory problems with people? Have you ever?
And in fact, I'm fixing to make up a salve with it in the next few days, as a matter of fact. Now, what you're seeing is that typically the buckeye that's used in these medications for varicose veins, spider veins, broken capillaries is European chestnut. And it contains a chemical called esculin, very toxic. It can be leached out and then used as medicine. It can be leached out and used as food, but it's way too much effort and time consuming to do. But externally, it's a great topical remedy for broken capillary, spider veins, varicose veins. And it's not toxic used externally like that.
So I've heard an old remedy of crushing it up and putting it on a snake bite because it also has whatever the toxin it is in this plant is measured the same way hematoxin is measured. Anyway, I did a little research, trying to understand exactly what I was thinking about fooling with, but that would be something I would come to you about. I wouldn't fool around with anything like that. So Brandon, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States. I thought something that might be interesting to you. Of course, this was reported in Reuters. Nobody else reported it, but the U.S. Appeals Court declares the 150-year-old home distilling ban unconstitutional, which could make your life easier, so you don't have to run out and buy Everclear. You could just distill your own corn liquor. You just can't sell it, right? That's the prohibition. And then, of course, the one of my little projects here recently is the erosion of the Fourth Amendment. nowhere in the Fourth Amendment does it say that someone can use the third party information they got from their drug snitch to get a no knock warrant, pre-dawn warrant for your home. So I'm hoping that'll sink in with some people. And I'm not the only one. They're the Justice Project and some other people. So this brings me to my liking question, and Brandon and I have been fooling around with our ancestry and whatever, and it turns out we got some pretty famous Indians in the family history, and they were the people who killed all the settlers in Fort Mims. And the lady who asked me about the lichen is the director of the Fort Mims Historic Preservation Alliance, and they would like to invite you down to do a presentation, if you would, to the Fort Mims. They do a live reenactment. There are people set up with different booths. They have a tomahawk throwing competition, which I have placed in several times. I still can't believe their insurance company lets them do that, but hey, I'm not insuring them. So anyway, the invite is there. It's August 30th. And I think I put some more stuff in here. The dates are August 29th and 30th, 9 to 3 daily. And that'll be the 40th reenactment presented by the sons and daughters of the American Revolution and the War of 1812. So that's an open invite. And, of course, we can't get through a podcast without talking about my relatives from Salem, Massachusetts, right? And yep, that'd be the witch trials and what I just went through. So, Brandon, do you know that we have a lady here in Bay Minette who owns an ice cream shop? Have you seen the ice cream shop rage video?
I was not familiar with that video. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm sure she's really disappointed in herself for having done this, but having just got off the pile-on train, I'd say let's cut the lady some slack. Darryl, you were asking about what kind of gear we run to do our podcast with. We use the Rodecaster Pro 2.
Oh, okay.
I had the Rodecaster Pro 1, and it worked out great for like 5 years. And then they said, sorry, Harry, no more firmware updates. You got to buy our new rig. And I've been extremely happy with it. It's a good piece of equipment. And, of course, Darryl, we can find you on Facebook under the Southern Herbalist and Stalking the Wild. Brandon, just real quick, we have a runoff election on Tuesday. Of course, our friend Jim Ziegler my friend Jim Ziegler standing for the Public Service Commission. And, we have a crisis down here in Baldwin County. They're trying to put in a 5,000-acre solar farm. And, of course, no one in Alabama politics can let a good crisis slip by. So Christina Warner McKinnis has assured us that she's going to demand an audit, Brandon. All the grandstanders. Anything else about the election we need to know?
The big thing is Barry Moore is running against Jared Hudson for U.S. Senate. You have John Wall versus Wes Allen for lieutenant governor. Catherine Green Robertson versus Jay Mitchell for attorney general. Christina Werner McInnes versus Corey Hill for commissioner of agriculture. And Jim Ziegler versus Chris Beaker III for the Public Service Commission. And if you vote on the Democrat side, Dakari Lariat is running against Everett West.
Yeah, nobody that votes Democrat watches us.
There's also a competitive CD5 race on the Democrat side up in Huntsville.
So just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in, Brandon. Do you smell a rat? Did you read this article I sent you? The second suspect sought by North Alabama authorities in connection with the arson was found dead in Coleman County. Investigators discovered the body of 41-year-old, whoever it was. Yeah, it says Sheriff Matt Gentry. Isn't he running for something? Public Service Commission?
Yeah, he's running for Public Service Commission. He's the Republican nominee.
Maybe these
for place one.
Maybe these couple of dead bodies getting dropped on his doorstep's a little higher priority. Seeing
I
as they
talked
were
with the Republic, in the May 19th primary, Jerry Carl made the primary against Rhett Marquez. I talked with the Republican Party, and they assured me that that race will not appear on your ballot on Tuesday.
okay. Well, I say we fuel up the Batmobile and get up to Coleman County as soon as possible. What says you? No. Let it lie. Let it shake out. That's a pretty incredible story. I'm sure there's more to come to that. All right. Well, Darryl, certainly appreciate you joining us today. Tell us where we can where can we buy your book? I believe it's on Amazon, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem when you buy it on Amazon. I have a sneaking suspicion that some company out of India is reprinting, making copies of it.
You're kidding.
And so that's why it goes for $600 to $2,000 online.
Yeah.
And on my website, theSouthernHerbalist.com, it's $40 and always has been. But there's also the rumor. Yeah, rumor's been spread that I'm dead too, which I don't think has happened yet. And they've got these first edition prints available, brand new books that didn't get from me. So I'm assuming it's some foreign company out in India. I feel bad about it.
I wonder that all the time on Amazon too. I order books from Amazon all the time, and it'll have a hard copy price of $29.99. It'll have a paperback copy price of like $20.99, and then I can buy books from Amazon for like $12 that obviously have never been read before. But and in volume, and they're there faster than we're just ready to go. They can be there in like 3 days.
Well, India has taken over from China as being the cheap place to print books. So a lot of big book writers are having them printed there, and they are also, I've noticed, taking a lot of the old medical books that I collect. I collect the original copies, and they're reprinting them and selling them. And I think somebody's done that to my book. But what can you do? You can't steal them.
It seems like the caliber paper has declined too.
Yes.
When I order these off Amazon, it's like, okay, this is like paper from the 1930s or something.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We're looking at your website right now, so anyone who's interested can go to this website and buy Darryl's book. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. Brendan, I will see you next time. Darryl, keep everybody on the mountain safe, okay?
Thanks so much for being on, Darryl.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Rides high on a promise he sold, but his truth's been bought and his soul's been told. He don't walk alone down that courthouse hall, got shadows that move when he makes a call, a whisper here, a favor there, and suddenly justice ain't nowhere. You can hear it humming underneath the street where power and silence meet. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry. Pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right. They don't ask why, they just go where it goes. A nod from the top and a life gets crushed. Another voice bared, another file hushed. They wear the loyalty like a second skin, trading their conscience just to fit in. Break a man down, call it law and order, build their empire at the county border. Every favor owed is a chain that binds, every truth buried buys more time. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. If you stand in the way, you'll disappear clean. Ain't no fighting back when you face a The district attorney signs with a steady hand, but the ink's been stained by a deeper plan. Senators smile from the polished stage while they trade your life for another page. County seats filled with familiar names, all tied together in a quiet game. Handshakes tighter than a noose can be, wrapped in power and immunity. And the victims cry, but no one hears. The truth gets lost in a flood of years, dragged through the mud till they break a bend, till the story twists and the lies all win. They'll take your name, they'll take your breath, dress it up nice and call it justice served to death. It's not one man, it's a web they weave, 1,000 hands that deceive, and every thread leads back again to the same old circle of friends. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. And if you speak too loud, if you're seen too clean, they'll grind you down in that cold machine. So the badge still shines in the morning light, and the town sleeps easy every night. But beneath it all, where the truth's unseen, there's a whole damn world run by that machine.
You better let go of my. I'll fucking kill her, motherfucker. Back! Get off my dog! Get the fuck off me! Get the
Hey, that's fucking enough. That's enough.
I'm gonna kill that fucking dog, hey? And I'm gonna kill you.